There's a lot of reasons why you may need a full functioning Bible app that doesn't require internet service if you're traveling, if you're camping in a remote area, if you live in a densely populated urban area maybe. I used to use the Blue Letter Bible exclusively, and then I changed my cell phone carrier, and I couldn't get internet access with my cell phone carrier inside my church sanctuary. So I had to go look for another app. So in this video, I am going to do an in-depth tutorial of how to use the eSword app, and I am using this on Android. You can buy eSword for the iPhone. It's just a few dollars for just the app. There are some in-app purchases, and we will talk about that as we go along. But the reason why I'm doing this tutorial is because eSword is my preferred app, and the reason why is because you can use it without internet access. So I did a video a while back, and I will go ahead and share that video so you can watch it. But it had to do with why apps in general, Bible apps in general, don't work without Wi-Fi or internet, or have very limited functionality. I used to use the Blue Letter Bible exclusively, and then I changed my cell phone carrier, and I couldn't get internet access with my cell phone carrier inside my church sanctuary. It's quite a big church, and with no windows in the sanctuary, I was unable to get a signal. So I had to go look for another app that used word studies without Wi-Fi. Because even though I could access just a Bible translation with Blue Letter Bible without internet and Wi-Fi, I could not access any of the word studies. So it was important for me to find another app. And it put me on this big, huge search, and I ended up landing on eSword. So eSword actually works differently than most other apps, and I discussed that in that other video, but there's a lot of reasons why you may need a full functioning Bible app that doesn't require internet service if you're traveling, if you're camping in a remote area, if you live in a densely populated urban area maybe, or maybe if you're like in a basement or something and you just don't have cellular signal and you don't have Wi-Fi. There's all kinds of reasons why you might want one of an app like this. So this app functions a little bit different, and I am going to go ahead and do a tutorial on this app because it is really a full functioning app. So let's go ahead and get started. On the screen here is the eSword app. So I'm going to go ahead and open it. And my tablet, by the way, is just a little slow. So this is the main screen that you're going to see right here. And your main operations are going to be here. And I will go over those. But just to acclimate you, that's where, you're on the top here, your bookmarks. You can copy verses, highlight verses, tag verses. You can do study notes. And it does have a memory function. I've played around with it a little bit. It's kind of limited, so I probably won't show it to you too much because I feel like there's better apps for that. Then you have some options here, some display options in the middle. Down here you have your download function, and this is where this app differs in that you can actually download Bible translations, commentaries, dictionaries, lexicons, reference books, and devotionals. And once you download them, they're on your phone or your tablet, and that's why you can use this without any kind of internet access. And then you have some general things like what you've installed. If you've imported anything, that's that function right there. It says, are you sure you want to import files? I'm going to say no. I've actually never done that. I'm not sure what import means, but there is a tutorial here that will actually take you, that's my browser right there. It'll actually take you to a tutorial that, helps you learn how to use it, but I've never used that function. So going back there, and then there is a way to back up user files, and it actually backs it up on your tablet or phone, and that might be important if you're taking a lot of notes and whatnot. I generally don't take a lot of notes in apps. So anyway, if you want to get out of that, you just hit the middle screen. So along the top you have some more functionality, the little Bible in the right hand corner here, That's how you navigate to your different areas. You would just click, the book that you want, and then the chapter that you want, and then the verse that you want. And that's how you navigate that. Here, this ESV, that's the translation I have on it. These are all the Bibles that I have downloaded. I'll show you how that works. I'm going to hit this back button down here on the bottom. And that back button, you never want to hit that back button if you see this row, this blue navigation row. If you hit this back button when you see this blue navigation row on the bottom, it's literally going to kick you out, just like that. And so I do that, by the way, all the time. I'm a little annoyed by it, but you get used to it. As long as you see that, you don't want to hit that back button. This little play button right here is really neat. I'll go ahead and play it for you. What it's going to do is it's an audio Bible.
Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
So depending on what translation you choose will determine whether or not it has an audio Bible. For instance, the Berean Study Bible does not have an audio, so you don't see that play function right there. The King James does, if you really like the language of the King James. So that's just a neat function there. And then this right here is your view pane, and we'll go over this a little bit, but I'm in full view right now, which is just a solid square. You can go into a panel view, which is this middle option, and I will talk about the panel view, but as you can see, there's now panels down here that you can see. Let me go to a longer verse. So that's a little bit of a longer verse. So you see this bottom panel down here is the King James with strong numbers. And then if you scroll down, there's another panel with all the kind of cross references that they can find. So, and then you have one more panel down at the bottom, this striped, this lined panel. And if you click that, that's actually a translation comparison. And so I will show you how to add more to that translation comparison. I usually keep it on this panel view right here because then it helps me, then I can always navigate. And the portion that's going to show in this panel down here is whatever verse you've highlighted. In order to highlight a verse, you actually see I'm clicking on the verse. Just clicking in the middle of the verse won't work. You have to literally click on the verse address like that, and then it'll change that, so you can see it change. I'll click on Genesis 1:28 and you can see it change again, and it changes again down there. And so that's how you do that. And then this cool function right here, this little time clock with this little arrow, is your Bible history. It's your search history, and so that's kind of important. You can delete that if you want to. I think it does take up some storage space, so if you're lagging or whatever, you can delete it if you want to, but I just kind of keep it there. This is useful, I have found. And then you have a search function where you can search. So that's just the basic user interface. Down here you have Bible, commentaries, dictionaries, lexicon, references. There's my references that I have there. A devotional. It comes with one devotional. I never use it, but it does come with it. And then BRP, I think, stands for Bible Reading Plan. So as you can see, it's dated. I'm filming this on April 8th, and so it's dated. Then you have a local map, this is really interesting, actually. If I put in, say I put in Babylon. So this is a real-time map, and this will only work if you have Google Play services installed. So I actually don't have this functionality on my phone because I have Google Play services disabled, but I'm filming this on my tablet, and I do have it on my tablet. But if I just put in Babylon and search, because this is a real map, it's going to take me to where, this is a real-time, real right now map, as you can see, but that's where Babylon was located. And so it's really interesting, some of the different areas and whatnot that you can find on there. And then this is your verse memory, and it's got usage tips on how to do it. It's not a great usable memory app, but what I like to use it for is just when I want to save a verse to memorize that I can maybe use in my memory app or in my other memory system, which is a box and card system, I will just, save it on here. But I'm not going to go over it too much because I don't really use it. I don't think it's a very well-rounded function at all. So going back to BBL, which stands for Bible, let's go into this hamburger menu in the upper left-hand corner. I want to show you how to, now that you have a kind of an overview of how this works, I want to show you how you download. So this is your download module here. So the first thing you're going to do is download Bibles. And it's going to come with, I don't know what it comes with, probably a King James, and that's about it. I don't have a whole lot of them downloaded, but this arrow arrow right there that you see, these are the ones that I have downloaded. And all of these, if it has a padlock, that means that it's locked and you would actually have to buy it. These are all the ones in English. And so these ones with the padlocks are the ones that you would have to buy. So let's say I wanted to buy the New King James Version, because I do. Nothing happens, right? So I highlighted it though. And then what I want to do is click this in the upper right hand corner, click this little download cloud button. And it's going to tell me here in red, this locked module must be purchased from its publisher. They will then provide the product key needed for installation. If you previously purchased this model for eSword, then just enter your email and product key you received to install it again. Here's the thing, eSword is also a desktop software, and you can purchase these modules for your desktop. And if you purchase it for the desktop, you can also take that product key and put it in here and use it on your tablet as well. So you can have it on both devices. Now, if you just want to purchase it right here, now you can click Purchase from eStudy Source. And you click on that and it's going to open up a browser. And it's going to show you that right there. It's going to have some example pages, and then it'll have a price. And then you can, buy it. I don't know if I want to spend $15 on a New King James translation for my tablet, which is probably why I haven't bought it yet. But there are a lot of reviews and whatnot. But this is how you would do that, and I can just hit the back arrow. There is actually one resource I want to buy. But these are the different translations. Let's find one that I haven't downloaded just to show you how quick it is, because the download does not take long at all. Here's an NET. I kind of like the NET. So I highlight it, I click download, it's spinning, boom, I have it now. So I'm going to hit back, and I'm going to go here, and now I have that CEV right there. So let me show you one other function going back to here. With the Bibles, you can then go to Bible Compare, and this is for a comparing. Do remember I said up here in this panel, you can compare translations. Well, how do you choose which translations to compare for that particular verse? You go back here and you go to Options, Bible Compare, and you choose which ones you want to compare. So I always want the ESV. I don't necessarily want that. The King James is fine. I don't want that. I do like that one. And let's just do that. Now you can also organize them. So let's say I'm going to hold on to this hamburger menu, and I'm going to bring it up here to the top. I always want that one on top. And then I always want the King James after that, and so forth. So like that. So that's the order: ESV, KJV, BSB, and NET. So now you see they're all in that order. I have to change there we go. If I'm in a reading pane, right, and, I want to translate, I want to see the different comparisons to, say, Genesis 1:2, then I just hit this and I change it to the rows, and then the rows will show me all the different translations. So going back here, so those are the Bible translations. You can also go to commentaries, and there's quite a few of them. Now, all these commentaries are going to be older because they're in the public domain, but there are some current ones. There are some modern ones. David Guzik, and they also have David Guzik in Spanish, I believe. That's probably the one that I use most, and it's very contemporary. There are some other contemporary ones in here. So these are the ones that you would have to pay for. So I just did a review, and by the way, you can go watch that if you haven't seen it yet. I did a review on the Believer's Bible Commentary. It's locked, so I won't be able to download it. Again, it's going to give me this, but if I say purchase from eStore, it's actually I think it's probably like the first edition, so it's not the current edition, but if you wanted it, you could buy it for $20. But I think you could probably get the most modern one for not that much more money, and you have an actual physical one. But if you wanted one for your tablet, you could get it. It's an excellent Bible commentary, and if you haven't seen that video, go check it out. So going back and back, let's go to... This is how you download all of them. You go to the dictionaries. These are the dictionaries that I have. There's a few of them in there. And then lexicons. I have all the free lexicons that they offer. Their lexicons are for word studies. And so they have it both for the New Testament and the Old Testament. And so I have everything that they have to offer there. And then reference books. And there's a lot of reference material in here. Some of them are maps. So the ESV, when you download the ESV actually might come installed on it. I'm not too sure, but it comes with its own map system. So I actually do have the ESV maps on here, even though it's not shown here. But I have this other map here, and then How to Study the Bible. This is a book that was like written in like 1903, and it's really good. Like, I read it. It's like so good. It's so helpful. So they're older. I downloaded this one, Peter, Fisherman, Disciple, and Apostle, because I was doing a study on 1 Peter. So yeah, I don't look into that stuff a lot. They're quite old, most of them, but still really, really good. Then... what's the last one? Oh, devotionals. Here's some other devotionals if you like daily devotionals. I don't generally do daily devotionals. I think this one comes automatically installed. Maybe not. I can't remember. But anyway, so that's those right there. Now, let's get into display settings. You can go daylight, lamp light, dim light, and then low light. I usually keep it in lamplight or daylight. You can get rid of the red letter if you don't like red letter. You can get rid of the section headings if you don't like those. And the navigation indicators are these over here on the left and right. I keep them on there, and I'll show you what it means. I find them a little annoying sometimes, but I do keep them. And then you can change your font size if you need it really big, or you want it smaller. Bible Compare we already went to. Lexicon Compare, I like that. I actually have all the lexicons come up at any given time, but I like them in a particular order. I always like to start with the Thayer. So again, and then I like to end with the King James Concordance. And so I'll show you all of that. And then custom categories is really interesting. I had just added a couple of them here. You'll want to, when you're doing Bible memories, you'll want to have categories. And I think there's another reason why you might want categories as well. But if I go to memory, or actually, let me just go to Bible. Let me just pick a verse. And let's say this verse right here, I just double tapped on that, by the way. This is how you use it. You double tap on a book or on a verse, and you have these options. You have bookmark, copy, highlight, tag, note, hit the 3 arrows, and then you have memorize. So when you memorize, something, they want you to select a category. So you can select a category, and they have all these categories in here, and you can just choose. I don't even know what that was, but you can just choose something. I'll just choose it, and if I double tap on it, then it has it under the atonement. I don't even know if... No, it's creation. Let's see if they have creation in here. It doesn't look like it. So I could add creation if I wanted to. And then if you're going to save that, you would hit save. Let me show you how to add categories, because that's what we were looking at. So if I go back to custom categories, if I want to add a category, I could add creation. And then add. Oh, it already has that as a, I didn't see it. That's interesting. Let's just put in attributes. There we go. So that's how you add. Pretty simple, really. I didn't see creation in there. So then highlight labels. You could like choose that color there, back it up, and just, you know, put that in there and then save it. And now you have a label for prayer if you found a verse that you really, really wanted to pray into. So let me navigate to, I don't know, something in Romans 12. So this is a good one right here, Romans 12:1. I double tap, right? And now let's say I want to highlight that verse, and I want to highlight it as something I want to pray into, and boom. Okay, now that I've highlighted it, let me go over here, and now you can see your highlighted verses. Over here, I can click prayer, and it's going to now show me that that was a verse that I highlighted. So that's how you do a highlight. Now let's go over to bookmarks. So I have a couple of bookmarks here. If I wanted to highlight or delete both of these, I had them in there twice. I could delete those if I wanted to. Let's say I wanted to re-bookmark it. I can double click that. I can click bookmark, and then it's going to bookmark it. And then I can bookmark that one, and then it's going to bookmark it. So now if I go into bookmarks, it's going to show them to me in a row. There is something interesting with, let's say I want to highlight this verse right here. If I go to highlight, you see up top here, it asks you how many verses you want to highlight. And so let's say I want to highlight, you know, several verses of it, and I want to pray into all of those verses right there. It's going to highlight all of them. And I'm not sure how you can undo the highlight, if any. Remove highlight. So that's how you remove highlight. So you can do highlight, and then on the bottom just remove highlight. So you can remove them all that way. So let's say I want to tag a verse. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God, the powers that are ordained of God. Say I want to tag that, because tags are kind of interesting in here. I could just go attributions of God there, double tap, and then it's going to tag it there. So now you see this little tag show up. So then when you go back here, you can look at your tagged verses. So copy verses is interesting. Let me see if I have any in there that I've copied. So it's going to ask you what you want to highlight or copy and how you want to copy it. But here's why you might want to copy a verse. Take a note. And now I can paste. So that's how copy paste works. I can paste into a note, and then I can save it. If you want to make edits to that note, then you're going to double tap on the verse again, and you're going to click note, and then you're going to be able to make some extra notes with that, and then you hit save again. It doesn't actually show you that it's saved, but trust me, it does work. And then if I go back in here and I go into my study notes, then I can see that I made that adjustment to that note. So, and then you can also delete the note if you want. So you can highlight it and delete it and say, are you sure that you want to delete your notes? And say yes. Okay, so that is your basic functionality for all of these. Now what I want to show you is primarily how I like to use this app. Let me go to ESV, which I really like. And let's say we're in Romans 13 here, and I want to kind of like do a word study. Like I said, I am on this panel view right here. And because I have that panel view, I have the King James Strong's numbers here in this bottom panel, and then I have cross references here. So these cross references, they are going to be you can get to them in several different ways. But let's say I'm reading this, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Boy, that's a fun verse that I chose, huh? Anyway, so what does it mean? So what does subject mean? So down here in this King James panel, I can click on the Strong's number right afterwards, subject. And what's going to happen is it's going to give me the word studies for that. And I always like to start with Thayer because I just like the way that it's organized. So you're going to have Thayer there, and then this is how I organize it. Then you're going to have the Strong's definition. And you can click on, some of these. And it says total KJV occurrences 40. You can click on that. And it's going to give you this view right here where you can actually read the verses and see how it's used. If I go back, however, it's just going to kick me back into this view right here. And I don't like that. So that's why I don't usually click on that. When I'm in there, I don't usually click on total KJV occurrences 40 in this section here for Strong's. They also have, I'll show you how I do get there. There's also mounts, and so, you have some things there. It says not available in Brown Driver Briggs because Brown Driver Briggs is Hebrew, and not available in the ancient Hebrew because it's Hebrew. Then you're going to come down to here, and then you have your 49 occurrences. They had it in 40 occurrences. Now you have it in 49 occurrences. But what I like about here is it literally breaks down how that word is used. Is it used as subject? Is it used as put, subjection, submit, under, made? Like, how is it used? And you can click on a verse. And if you click on a verse, it just pops it up like that. And you can just go back, and it's going to put you back into your Hebrew or back into your word study here. If you click on that and then you decide, well, I want to read that in context, then you can just go ahead and click on that, and it's going to take you right straight to it, to that verse. But let's say I want to get back to what I was just reading. Where was I? That's when you hit this little clock with an arrow icon, and it gives you your Bible history, and you can go back to Romans 13:1, and you can go back to your word study. And so I'm going back to the subject version, the word subject. And so that's how you can navigate it, and that's oftentimes how I navigate it as well. Now let's go ahead and go into the Old Testament. I'll just go into Genesis, just so you can see what it looks like when you do. Let's choose this. Let's look at what darkness means. And it says H, and H means Hebrew down here. And now your Strong's is going to be there. It's not available in the Mounts because Mounts is New Testament Greek. It is available in the Brown Driver's Briggs, and that's what you have here. And then I have this ancient Hebrew thing here, which I don't visit too often, but I find it really interesting. Just like how you can kind of like dig into this a little bit. I don't use it a whole lot, but I do find it interesting sometimes. And then it has like all these 80 occurrences where, darkness is. And it's, so it's really interesting. If I wanted to go to Job, I could read that in Job and then go back and then go back. So let's say I wanted to read some commentaries on something in here. I'm going to go back to something in the New Testament. So I am in 1 Corinthians 1. Let's pop over to 1 Corinthians 2. Let's click on that right there. Let's say that I wanted to look at a commentary. So I could hit commentary. Now, I'm usually set at David Guzik, so David Guzik automatically comes up. But if I click David Guzik, now I'm going to get all the other commentaries that I have. So let's click back. It's going to show you here navigation within this commentary. Now, David Guzik does not have overall book commentaries. So if I click book, there's not going to be anything there. He does have chapter, though. And if I click verse, it does not jump me to a particular verse. So David Guzik, how you read him is it's all in one chapter. It's the whole entire chapter he has here. And so you have to scroll through to really find what you want. It does take a little bit of navigation to like kind of like find what you're looking for in David Guzik. But let's go to, I don't know if any of these have what I want, but let's go to Jameson. If I go to book, he's got an entire introduction to 1 Corinthians under book. He's got chapter 2, and then he's got verses 6 through 7. So you can actually navigate a little bit more, micro navigation with some of these commentaries if they actually allow it. So that's commentary. So when you click on dictionary, here's the different dictionaries that I have in here. And so you can just put in this is something where that you would actually want to look something up. So you can put in, like, say you want to do a study on marriage. And the ISBE is going to, have something there. The ISBE is the International Standard Bible Encyclopedia. It's pretty standard. It's been around for a long time, so it's really good. Naves will have cross-references, which is awesome. They've got a Webster's, which is really nice. A lot of people like this Webster's because it actually does talk about, it cross-references Bible areas. So that's the Webster's Dictionary of American English from 1828. It probably won't have anything under Hitchcock because Hitchcock is names. But let's say I wanted to do a study on Noah under Hitchcock, and Hitchcock is going to give me the definition of Noah. But let's say I wanted to do Noah under, the ISBE. He didn't show up there. So the ISBE doesn't have Noah. There we go. The Nave has Noah. You just have to like play around with it. The Smith Bible Dictionary has Noah, and then Webster does not. But that's just how you play around with it. And again, I don't have all the dictionaries downloaded. Lexicon, you can go to Lexicon and you can do, I think you can do a search for like words for Lexicon, but I never use the Lexicon tab by itself. References, again, references are just extra added material, so nothing is going to kind of like link to your references. Like if you're in a particular Bible verse and you want to just like click to references, it's not going to populate anything for you. But these are the maps there, and then these are all the maps that you have there. These are pretty standard maps, ESV maps, and these are the ESV maps that you have here, Middle East Today, so that's good. And then how to study the Bible. Again, this is an entire, if I want to go to contents, it's going to give me the contents. It's a 9-chapter book. I read a fair amount of it. It's really good. And then Peter, this whole thing about Peter. And yeah, so, oops, see, it happens. Where I hit back and I had a navigation. So anyway, that's what references. The devotional, I think we already went over all of that. So anyway, that is how you use the eSword app. Like I said, you'd have all of this study material, all of these word studies and cross-references and everything at your disposal without having an internet. So like I said, it's going to cost you a few bucks just to get the app. I think it's maybe $2.99 on Android and maybe $3.99 for iPhone, and that's just for the app. But this like everything that I just showed you, that was just like all free, and I don't even have like everything that is available. And one little thing I will tell you one time is this happens is, say you're like right here and you want to double tap on this verse right here, which is 1 Corinthians 2:11. If I double tap on that, it's just going to shoot you over. It's going to navigate you over. So you just have to kind of be aware of like where that navigation button is at if you want to double tap a verse. That's why in the display area, you can actually toggle that off. Those navigational indicators, you can toggle that off if you want to. So anyway, that is eSword. I hope you have enjoyed this. If you like these kind of videos, I can definitely do more of them. They're a little bit more intensive. They're a little bit longer. I do have a favorite Bible memory app that I might do a review on because I like it and I think it has some great memorizational tools. So if you'd like to see that, comment down below what you might want to see. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you go and watch the other video on why you would need an app like this, what's wrong with the other apps, why they will not work without internet access, or why they're so limited. And also check out that review, The Believer's Bible Commentary. I'll link both of them on the end screen. So thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you next time. Bye.